VocalEye Almost Live Zoom, Holiday Surprise, hosted by Amy Amantea, with special guests Christine Malec and JJ Hunt.
Welcome to this almost live event. My name is Amy Amantea. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm the Associate Director for VocalEye. I'm your host for these almost live events, and I'm a member of the blind community. Very proud to be a member. And I always want to start off by thanking those of you who join us in this space week after week, who join us at live theater productions, who've made contributions and donations and sent in wonderful letters of support and testimonial. Keep those coming. We love to read those. I love to read those. I love to respond to those. There's always a donation link that's posted in the chat if you feel like you have the capacity to do that. It will be there for you. There's all sorts of ways to reach us. If you happen to be watching this particular event on our YouTube channel, we would like for you to hit like and subscribe. I'm going to take off my holiday glasses and you'll get a description of these in a moment, friends. But while I do my land acknowledgement, I think it's fair that I take those off. VocalEye is broadcasting to you all from the traditional and stolen lands of the Squamish, Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh First Peoples. I think we probably all know at this point that Christmas is a Christian holiday, and it was brought to Indigenous peoples through the process of colonization. And so I wanted to learn a little bit about how Indigenous peoples today might celebrate this time of year. And as you can imagine, there are all sorts of ways that people are celebrating the holidays. For many Indigenous peoples today, Christmas is actually really important to them because they grew up through a colonized system and now really resonate with Christmas. So many of them can and do celebrate Christmas as it is traditionally known to many folks. Some of them don't do all the traditional things, but some First Nations families and Indigenous peoples participate in a gift giving sort of ceremony and the opportunity to enjoy a warm meal together with family around the table on December the 25th. Many families also come together to honor the traditional winter solstice, which is the shortest day of the year, marked on December 21st. And they also celebrate the period that follows the solstice, which is December 22 to 25, when the days begin to grow longer again. So as more sunlight returns to the sky, our days get just a little bit longer. So there's the shortest day of the year, and then they start to get a little bit longer. So that whole period of time is a celebratory time as Indigenous peoples, many Indigenous peoples. I'm not speaking for all Indigenous folks, but what I was reading is that many Indigenous peoples, their spirituality has a long connection with nature and to the changes of the seasons. And as I think about what I've read in terms of how Indigenous peoples may celebrate this time of year, as many of us in the space may celebrate Christmas or Hanukkah or different Ramadan, different things that are happening, the solstice this time of year. We're all gathered together in community, which I think is beautiful. And it's one of the things that I appreciate about this time of year. And I may not have a Christmas tree set up in my house. We may do Christmas a little differently in my family, but we definitely appreciate being able to spend time together and share a meal and share some laughs and do all of those things that I think we should probably do more often throughout the year, if I'm honest. But we certainly take the time that is given to us to support that. And I hope you all do the same in your families and communities. So welcome to Wednesday, December the 14th, 2022. Tonight, we're proud to offer you our almost live event number 105. That number grows, of course, every week, but I'm kind of astonished by how big that number goes. And I'm going to put my holiday glasses back on, and in a moment, JJ's going to describe what I look like to you all. So let's not wait any further. Let's bring in our holiday surprise guests, JJ Hunt and Christine Malec. Welcome to the space, friends. Oh, we got some colorful stuff going on.
Hello.
There's JJ. Hello, Christine.
Hey, Amy, thanks for having us.
Awesome. I'm excited to have you here. Christine's on mute. I wonder if Christine's having trouble unmuting, but I'm just going to tell you you're on mute because she's probably talking to herself. Well, JJ, maybe we'll get started while Christine finds her unmute button. Want to do some descriptions of our virtual squares?
Happy to, happy to. I mean, let's start with your fantastic setup there, Amy. It looks
Oh,
fantastic. So Amy's got on a virtual background, which is a red background, and then hanging like ornaments are these snowflakes, probably a dozen or so snowflakes hanging behind her that very slowly spin and catch a light. So they twinkle behind. I was saying earlier, they kind of look a little bit like snowflakes punched out of tin. They're so precise, so perfect. So I mean, that's just the background. Then there's the Christmas sweater. Amy's got on a fantastic Christmas sweater. It looks like it's plaid on one side, and then on the other side it says Merry Christmas. It's like got like the traditional Christmas weave to it. Very nice.
it's
And then
ugly.
the glasses. So these are glasses with very thick rims. And are they, is it gold lame? Like
Yeah.
really gold sparkly glasses with a little bit of mistletoe above the right eye, and little gold lame antlers. Like I mean, come on. Is this just every day in December? This is how you're walking around throughout your life in
This is
December?
a
Or
one-time appearance only, JJ. Although I will
sure,
say,
sure.
if friends are joining us for the panto or for the panto or for Me Love Bingo this weekend, I may bring the glasses if somebody wants to experiment or explore what they are.
Are you going to get a lot of kisses on your right eye? Is that the
Oh,
vibe?
Christine, oh no.
Wait, you never thought of that?
No, of course I didn't think about that.
You're gonna get that. You're gonna get right on the cheek, kiss after kiss
I didn't
after
even
kiss.
know there was mistletoe on them until something.
Maybe it's holly. You can just say it's holly.
Yeah, that's right. No COVID
Unless you want the
kisses,
kiss, then go for the mistletoe, right?
please. No COVID kisses, please.
I'm just going to say it now. I'll never, ever compete with Amy in the bling and fashion department. Just never. Just never. Just never.
All this stuff lives in my, like, Mr. Rogers had a tickle trunk. Lives in my
Oh yeah.
That was Mr. Dress Up.
Oh, Mr. Dress Up.
Hello.
Sorry. Oh.
We still have a tickle trunk in our house too. Like
Oh my gosh.
we got like two teenagers and me, and boy, that tickle trunk gets used all the time.
So JJ, what's your background look like? What do you got going on there?
So I've got a still from the Peanuts Gang Christmas, the Charlie Brown Christmas. So this is the Charlie Brown Christmas tree and all the gang gathered around it. It's not the moment when they're looing. So they've all got smiles on their faces instead of the loo little round mouths. But yes, they are decorating the Charlie Brown Christmas tree and smiling in the tree, the classic Charlie Brown Christmas tree. It always looks a little better. It looks green and full when it gets decorated. And Linus's pale blue blanket is wrapped around the base, and there's a star in the sky that's, gleaming star directly above the tree. Very classic. And then for me, I got myself decked out my red Montreal Canadiens jersey, which is pretty festive for me, bit of a winter staple for me. And then you can't have a nice silver beard like I've got and not put on a Santa hat. So I got the Santa hat too, so I can ho with the best of them tonight.
I just what did you ask me about the Christmas attire? I bet you all season long people are calling you Santa Claus.
Yeah, with the hat, without the hat, I get it. I'm walking down the street. Hey, Santa! I get a lot of that. I quite genuinely. Yeah, and I got a haircut recently, and so now my wife is calling me Fashion Santa because it's a little bit of a hipster haircut, and so yeah, I'm a Fashion Santa. That's right.
I want to make one of those like Brangelina kind of words.
Yeah.
Fashion Santista or something like that.
I've also got a cat on my lap who will occasionally be jumping up and saying hi to the camera or trying to snuggle the microphone. So just a heads up, if you hear any like purring, it's not me. It is Lucha the cat.
Right,
on my
right.
lap.
You had to preface that with "It's not me."
That's right.
You could tell us there's a cat in the screen, and we just have to take your word for it. Chris, do you want to do a self-description, or do you want JJ to describe what you're wearing?
I will never ask JJ to describe me. He hates that. So I'm wearing a red. I dug up a red shirt. I have a red shirt, and I also dug up. I'm not a big decorator. I'm not fashion. So I found this Christmas stocking, which I actually can't describe that, but it's this Christmas fuzzy stockingy thing that I've just draped stupidly across my shoulder. So, but on the top of my head, I don't have an antler. I have this barrette. I'm tilting my head way down.
Oh yeah.
It's from Amy.
Oh,
Amy,
one of the ones I made for you.
some of you may know Amy has a little enterprise doing jewelry, and I told her I wanted hair jewelry, like bling for my hair. So I'm not a bling person, but I just like shiny stuff in my hair. So it's got lots of shiny things in this barrette that's at the top of my head. And so and I'm sitting in my egg chair. So I'm in this little tenty thing with a wool blanket pulled around me and feeling very cozy.
Well,
That
cozy is
very
also
nice.
holiday vibes.
Right?
So we'll
It's
take it.
winter. It's
Yeah.
cold. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. I agree. Friends, what are we going to do tonight? I know what we're going to do. What are we going to experience tonight? Anybody want to tease our guests?
Wait, what?
Oh.
Was that in the contract? I don't remember that part. Being teased. I don't remember that part.
Maybe got a little holiday music written by somebody special in the space. Maybe got a story reading coming up. Maybe some trivia. Lots of holiday prizes.
Oh yeah. Yeah, some descriptions of some Christmassy things and yeah, beautiful songs. You know.
Sorry.
Eggnog. Who's pouring the eggnog?
Who's
That's what
pouring
I
the
want to know.
eggnog? That's
Eggnog.
right. That's
I
right.
haven't had any eggnog yet.
Nobody
Oh, I never
delivered
get a
it.
chance. We buy eggnog, and honestly, by the time the fridge closes, the kids have already finished the carton. Like that,
I
they
believe that.
go crazy.
And they're drinking it
for
without the
stuff.
rum, right?
Yeah, right out of the carton. They can even if they thought it would be better with the rum, they couldn't wait that long. They just guzzle
That
it.
feels like a Rocky moment, actually, to just drink eggnog out of a carton.
Yeah,
It feels
yeah.
like they're getting ready for a boxing match or something.
Totally. Gotta pack on the weight.
Yeah, bulk up.
Bulk up. That's
Yeah.
right.
Well, we've got lots of prizes that are going out, but I do want to let folks know that we also have a prize for everybody, but you have to claim it. So you have to go through our follow-up email that comes out afterwards. So if anybody is interested and would like a free pass to the Vancouver Writers Festival digital online festival that's going to be happening, you can reach out to VocalEye or just wait for your follow-up email, and you'll get instructions on how to get a digital pass, because the Writers Festival has got all sorts of like readings from authors. We do the literary cabaret piece of that in this space. We did it last year. We're hoping to do it in this new year. But if you want to have a free pass to that digital festival and check things out, you are being gifted a free pass, but you got to claim it. So either reach out to me, or there'll be some contact information in your follow-up email if you'd like to have a digital pass. So that's a holiday gift for everybody. If you want it, it's there for you to claim. That sounds like fun.
Very nice.
The other stuff you have to win. The other stuff we're gonna pull your name and you gotta win. But there's plenty of stuff, so I'm really excited about that. Cheesy, fun holiday stuff.
Any skill testing questions? Are we going to make people answer skill testing questions?
You know, I have to say, I think one of my trivia questions is super, super hard. Super hard. And maybe if somebody gets that question, maybe I'll think about sending them something special.
How many pairs of shoes does Amy own?
3.
What?
It's not that. I don't have that many pairs.
Really?
Really?
Oh, I
Listen.
pegged you all wrong. I pegged you as like a dozens of shoes.
Okay, that's not true. I probably have lots of shoes, but I probably wear consistently the same ones over and over and over again. There you go. Although one of our Natasha, one of our VocalEye interns in the background, has a pair of elf shoes with jingle bells that she was sharing with us before we hopped on this call. So I don't have a pair of those.
They're very sweet. And I'm glad they're not jingling right now, because Lucha the cat on my lap would be going crazy if she heard those jingle shoes. She'd be hopping around.
There's a song for you to write next, Christine. Jingle shoes.
Jingle shoes.
Maybe not a winter solstice song, but
I'll see. Yeah.
You'll see the jingle shoes. I love it. Well, Speaking of songs, I mean, I know that we wanted to kick some stuff off. So how do we want to start? Because you all did a lot of the curation for this.
Yeah, well,
winter solstice.
Sure. So I think the first thing we're going to do is to hear a song that I wrote, and I write about one song per year. They come very, very slowly to me. So as I'm fond of saying, by the time I die, I should have an album out. Should have enough material. So very slowly, they come to me very slowly. And this song is called Midwinter Fire, and there's a bit of a lovely story. I mean, I hope it's not a boring story to other people. To me, it's a lovely story about why this song exists. During the pandemic, after about 3 weeks, the thing that was eating at me personally was not sharing music in public spaces, because part of the way I make my living and live a good life, what to me is a good life, is that I play music in the subway. So um, sharing music in public spaces had to become really important to me. And playing music alone in my living room was just making me sad. It was just terrible. So what I did was I put on our local Facebook residents group, I said, here's where I back on, here's the alley I back onto. On Wednesday at noon, I'm going to be sitting outside with my guitar and I'm going to sing. And if you want to come, please come and sing with me. If you want to open your window and listen. If you want to close your window, close your window. But I committed to myself that I would be there every Wednesday at noon. And I did that. And it didn't take long before I started finding out that I had musical neighbors that I didn't know. And uh, over the course of the pandemic, we met. It became twice a week because we loved it so much, through all seasons: hot, cold, rain, snow, wind, ice. We literally experienced all weather, and we were dauntless. And people would say, you're really brave, you're really dedicated. And we would all say, no, we're really desperate. And what we meant by that was that if shared music is something that you care a lot about, you ache not to have it. And so we literally, there were times where we had to not have guitarists. We were huddling. I'm sticking my hands under my arms and hunching my shoulders because we were so cold, and we would just sing a cappella, which means with no instruments. And we still get together once a week indoors now, and we are dedicated, devoted friends, and they've become true blue friends in, with music, without music. They're people that I love. And so on many a night, many an afternoon, we would be sort of huddling around a little tiny fire stove thing outside, maybe sipping whiskey or hot tea, and shivering, but singing and being together. And it saved my soul, literally. It's hard to express how important this was to me. I think all of us have something that helped us get through the isolation of lockdown after lockdown. And for me, this was it, hands down. And so I like to recognize the solstice at this time of year. It's sort of the commemorative thing that means something to me, which is, as you said, Amy, the shortest day, the longest night. It's when the earth is tilted such that we are furthest from the sun. And so this song is called Midwinter Fire. And it's just a thank you, a gratitude for the times when I could freeze my tail off, but I was with people I loved and we were singing. And if you sing, you know how good it feels and how good it makes you feel. And if you don't sing, you should sing. And I don't care how you sound. Even when I love it when I hear someone walking down the street and singing. I don't care if they can sing, if they're good or if they're melodious. I just love that they're singing. And so
Yeah.
singing is not about how you sound, it's about how it makes you feel. And so this song came from how it made me feel to be shivering and cold and wearing 15 layers and tucking my hands under my armpits to keep them warm, but to be so grateful to have something to be joyful about in the middle of stuff that was just so crazy for all of us. So that's a very long story and a very personal story, and I hope it didn't bore everyone, but that to me was where this song came from, and so it's very meaningful to me. And so, Rick, whenever you're ready, we can play Midwinter Fire.
I think there's going to be a graphic up when Rick plays as well. So
Oh, yes.
yeah, JJ, do you recall the graphic? You want to give a quick description of the graphic, and we'll get Rick to load the image?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is an image of a forest at night. So we're looking at the treetops, and there's a great big full moon hanging in the sky, an oversized full moon in the blue-black sky. The tops of the evergreen trees are dusted with snow, and there's a little bit of cloud between the moon and the treetops.
Awesome. Excited to hear the song. Rick, when you're ready, hit play.
The midwinter fire is well alight. Gathered in song, we defy the long night. Cast the last year into the flames. Sing for the light coming back again. Sing for the light coming back again. Christians and pagans, atheists and Jews, Taoists, agnostics and Buddhists too. We greet the midwinter as it passes away, raising our voices on the shortest day. Midwinter fire is well alight. Gathered in song, we defy the long night. Cast the last year into the flames. Sing for the light coming back again. Sing for the light coming back again. Raise a glass, a cigar, or a pipe. Offer a toast to the northern lights. Pour wine and whiskey onto the ground in thanks for all of us gathered around. The midwinter fire is well alight. Gathered in song, we defy the long night. Cast the past year into the flames. Sing for the light coming back again. Sing for the light coming back again. The midwinter fire is well alight. Gathered in song, we defy the long night. Cast the past year into the flames. Sing for the light coming back again. Sing for the light coming back again. The air is cold, but we breathe it in song. Our fingers are frozen, yet we play on. The winter will pass and they'll find us in spring, breaking cold fingers from our broken strings. The midwinter fire is well alight. Together in song we defy the long night. Cast the last year into the flames. Sing for the light coming back again. Sing for the light coming back again.
Love it. Applause for Christine. What did you say?
I love
earlier?
that applause. I love
know.
that applause. so
Before we
much.
joined friends, Christine said, "Send me the soundbite. I'll make it my ringtone." I think we should all make an applause our ringtone.
And why not?
Who can't use a little applause in their life, right?
Right? Right.
Awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a lovely. I love
Beautiful
that
song.
tune, Chris. That's
Oh,
beautiful.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it was a multi-track recording as your friend when you're an imperfect musician. So there's guitar and piano in there. And
And
thing
you play
is,
both?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'm not much of a piano player. I can sort of bang through stuff, but and I'm honestly, I don't feel I'm much of a guitar player either. Singing is what I love, so I play just well enough to accompany
yourself?
myself. Yeah, so I've got this great multi-track Reaper, software that's accessible, and the 88 key keyboard in my space, and the guitar as well, and a nice mic. So I just layer and layer and layer, and luckily for me, my partner is really good with sound editing and effects and stuff, so he did all the reverb and all of the fancy schmancy stuff that funnily my ear, as much as I hear, melody and harmony, I don't have the ear. Like he'll be like, "Oh, you gotta tweak the treble, and then the bass needs a little more resonance." And I'm like, "What? I don't hear it. I don't hear it. Just make it sound good." And and he does. So that's a result of sort of my multi-track efforts, and my partner doing some post-production on it.
Maybe you and I'm just throwing this out to the universe, and if it happens, it happens. But maybe you and I should write a song together.
There you go.
It's not going to be Jingle Shoes, okay? I'm gonna have to
It's not going to be Jingle. It's not going to be Jingle Shoes. It's not going to be Jingle Shoes.
Well,
that could be a fun kind of endeavor to just do something.
My song for this year, it's a little more somber, but I'm working on one about JJ will know what I'm talking about. Emily Davison, who was a British suffragette who died during a political action, endeavoring to get women the vote. And she endured a lot of other horrible things before she died because of her insistence that women deserve the right to vote. And so I'm working on, that's this year's song that, they take me so long, but that's so more somber of a theme, but the length of effort is the same. So it's coming together slowly.
One of the things sorry, JJ, one of the
things. Oh no, I was just going to say, you certainly nailed that one. I mean, there were some of the scenes that you describe in there, literally, like I've experienced those, the lighting the pipe and pouring whiskey, pour a little bit whiskey on the ground reminded me so strongly on New Year's Eve, when it was the turning of the millennium, when it was New Year's 99 to 2000. I was at a cottage, a friend's cottage, big party weekend. And I just, for some reason, I got in the mood where I wanted to be by myself. It was a lake access cottage. So I walked out onto the frozen lake, into the middle of the lake, all by myself, with my pipe and a flask. And I just waited. And I could only tell that the hour had turned, that we had gone from 1999 to 2000, because over the tree line in the next town, beyond the forest, some lights flashed. There's some very soft and subtle flashing of light from fireworks that were going off, and that was how I knew that it was New Year's. I poured a little bit of whiskey on the frozen lake, had a shot myself, and then went back to the party. And I was totally taken back to that moment by that beautiful song, by that lovely verse, thinking about lighting my pipe and pouring a little whiskey on the ground.
It's a lovely gesture. It's not something I'd ever really thought to do, but one of my jam pals does it, and I just love the even if you're an agnostic like me, gratitude is very important. And if that's just one symbolic way to express gratitude, I'm down with that.
Ditto.
Yeah.
I was really able to resonate with this idea of being cold but being in community. There's a lot of that I'm witnessing personally, but I'm also witnessing here in Vancouver, where we've got a population of folks who are unhoused, and how, to be honest, I guess how we as society have often created some of those circumstances, right? It's like we are responsible for taking care of our most vulnerable people, and yet we don't. And I had a couple of incidences this week with some folks where I'm trying to do my best to support in a moment, but realizing that there's a systemic issue here, right? So it doesn't matter how often you say, I will buy you a blanket, I will buy you whatever that you need in this moment. That's one moment, right? But there's still community in that moment.
Yes. Oh, very nicely put. Yeah.
Again, one of the things I like about this time of year is that we tend to give each other a little more space for that. But why aren't we doing that all year round? It's not counter, right? Why is it that for 11 months out of the year, we don't notice what's right in front of us, and then for one time of the year we're like, oh well, now I'll do some donations, or now I'll do some giving back to community, or
That's
whatever.
right.
Yeah.
One of my favorite Christmas songs when I was a kid was, I don't know if I've ever heard it anywhere else, but it was on the Sesame Street Christmas album, and it was "Keep Christmas With You" all through the year. And
Oh,
it's like such a simple sentiment. And, you know, it was Sesame Street. It was fairly sappy, but it really did resonate, that idea of,
You're talking about it now.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. Keep Christmas with you. Like a very simple idea, but yeah, you know, as a kid, I certainly thought, yeah, grown-ups, keep
keep giving us
Christmas with you.
presents.
Yeah, maybe I didn't have quite the same spirit then as I have now, but you know.
Well, friends, I think we should transition on to segment 2 of tonight's festive plan. How do we want to kick this off? We got some visuals. So we wanted to do something because we realized that Christmas is a Christian holiday and not everybody here is religious or Christian, or right. So we have some, and just to be able to learn a little bit about other types of celebrations that happen this time of year. So JJ had some ideas.
Well, we thought we'd talk a little bit about the visuals of some other celebrations, the visuals of Hanukkah and the visuals of Kwanzaa as well. So shall we start with the visuals of Hanukkah?
This is part, I'm gonna totally come clean. When JJ and I were talking about this part of our contribution, we both went, oh, it'll be just like doing a podcast again. And so as some of you may know, we had a podcast called Talk Description to Me, which it's all still up there. It's on pause at the moment, but they were sort of description rich conversations, and these are some of the stuff we have spoken about before. And so I'm having this most lovely deja vu of wanting to like sit in front of the nice microphone and think of, you know, get ready to start the episode, and I'm just feeling all nostalgic for it. Yeah, Hanukkah is happening at this time of year, and where should we start, JJ? For sure, the menorah. We should talk
Yeah. I mean, lots of those visuals. The menorah is a key element. Certainly, the menorah is everywhere. If you find a Christmas image, a Hanukkah image, a Hanukkah card, it's gonna have. Odds are pretty good a menorah on it. So Rick has just brought an image up for us of some of the visuals that are part of a Hanukkah celebration. There's the menorah, there are dreidels, there's a donut, an amazing looking donut, and we're going to kind of, you know, break down all of those one at a time as we talk about Hanukkah. So Hanukkah is the Jewish celebration of lights, observed over 8 nights and days. And during the celebration, during those nights, people sing, they tell stories, they light the menorah, they eat all the good things that anyone does at any good celebration. This year, Hanukkah is from December 18th to the 26th. And of course, like any holiday, right, it's celebrated in lots of different ways by different families and different denominations. And yes, some of the most well-known icons of the celebration, the menorah, right? The menorah is a candelabrum with 9 branches. Most commonly, it has a flat base, and then all 9 candles are in a row, with the central one being the helper, often raised a little bit higher than the 4 candles on either side. And a typical menorah is a series of wide, flat U-shapes, kind of one inside the other. So if you imagine a tall, straight candlestick standing straight up on its base, that's the helper. The candles on either side rise out of the ends of a U-shape that go under the helper. And then the holders on either side of those are connected by a larger U-shape. And then this pattern repeats, right? These concentric U-shapes, so that you eventually get 4 candles on either side of the center helper candle in the middle. And the idea is you light 1 candle per night using the lit helper. And the candles tend to be very plain, very simple candles, and they are designed intentionally to burn for 1/2 hour only. and lots of different versions of menorahs. I've seen like the one in the picture here is a metal, like a silver, maybe a pewter menorah. I've seen some in wood. I've seen some made out of pottery. Sometimes kids make them as crafts. And then those become the family menorah. But there's also big public displays where there are, giant menorah in a town square or in at City Hall or something like that with electric lights glowing. Have you ever like lit a menorah, Chris, or have you ever been at a Hanukkah party or a Hanukkah celebration and been there for the lighting of a menorah?
Yeah, I've touched one unlit. I haven't lit one myself, but I was just as you were talking, I was remembering a good friend who used to share the house with us who would light the menorah, and I was getting all a little misty, because I
Nice.
liked it. It's like every night at 3 foot at sunset, whatever that was, 4:40, whatever. I'd go upstairs to her pad and we'd light the candle and chat for half an hour or so while the candle burned down. Yeah, it's I'm wondering about when you mentioned public displays in Toronto or Vancouver, where might you see a menorah in public spaces?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, I've seen them obviously in front of like synagogues would be a classic. In front of a
Okay.
synagogue, you might see a menorah, but depending on the neighborhood or depending on the just the general population, I'm not sure City Hall in Toronto has one this year, but I know they have had in the past. In the same way that you would put up a Christmas tree in a public space, you might put up a giant menorah, not that they are to be equated in terms of the religious significance, but in terms of an icon of the celebration, the menorah is often one of those things that is used as a public display element. The dreidel is probably the second most recognizable item, like visual for the Hanukkah celebration. A dreidel is a spinning top with 4 flat sides. Most commonly, it has like a rounded point on the bottom and a short stick at the top, kind of like the little stick you'd find on a lollipop. And each of the 4 sides has a different Hebrew letter on it. And you then spin it, it tips over, and one of those letters is standing, and that's your letter. There's actually a digital dreidel. Have you heard of this? This digital dreidel.
It's very
It,
awesome. I had
it's
no idea.
it's really cool. So if you go onto Google and all you have to type into Google is the word dreidel, Dreidel, the first thing that pops up is a Google dreidel, and you just click a button and you can spin it over and over and over again, and it tells you what letter has come up, your Hebrew letter, and there are different games that kids can play. I know my kids have played with some friends dreidel games that involve getting getting little pieces of chocolate coins. I'm not sure exactly how authentic those games my kids were playing were. I think they were just trying to hoard as much chocolate as possible. But I think there are lots of different kinds of games you can play with dreidels. I actually some very good friends of ours have an amazing Hanukkah party every year that we very much look forward to. Speaking of that kind of outdoor experience, this used to be a party that they would have partly inside and partly outside. So the most of the party used to be indoors, but then it was a latke frying party. And so, when you're frying a lot of latkes, the house can get kind of stinky. So they would run an extension cord to the backyard, get a really old school square electric frying pan. And that's where all of the frying was done. And then the pandemic hit. And it's like, well, I guess the whole party's outside, and everyone loved it so much that now that's where the party is. No one goes inside.
Oh.
It's strictly an outdoor event. And
Oh.
my buddy who does the frying, he's got an old army surplus, like this green canvas parka that is only broken out one day a year for frying the latkes. And he's got this big furry hat with the ear flaps. And we all gather around the pan and we pass around a bottle of vodka that's infused with beets and horseradish. So it's this really
Whoa.
dark red vodka. and he's got these tiny pewter shot glasses that are barely bigger than thimbles. These were his grandfather's, and we have little, shots of vodka as we eat tester latkes out of the pan.
Tester latkes.
Yeah, we got to test
the
this
ones
one.
that don't, they kind of fall apart, and you're like, oh,
Yeah, we can't give these to the kids unless we test them ourselves, right? We eat lots and lots of latkes straight out of the pan. Sometimes the kids get some, and then we read stories. My buddy reads some stories that sometimes traditional, sometimes not traditional. We sing songs, the songs that are sung with the lighting of the menorah. We eat. And then there are these pan-fried donuts. There's a picture of one of these pan-fried donuts in the in the image that Rick's put up for us. Amazing donut. You flip it over so it ends up cooking till it's golden brown on one side and then golden brown on the other. And then there's kind of this ring of pale, slightly softer donut around the edge. And then dusted with powdered sugar and sometimes a dollop of plum jam, either pushed into the middle or just dolloped on top. Oh my God, these things like right out of the frying pan. I'm telling you,
there's a lot of fried foods around Hanukkah. Do you know why they're?
Yeah, it's about the oil. Traditionally, it was a lighting with the olive oil. Do you have the full story, Amy, on this?
No, but this is the story that I know, is that it, the magic of the
the miracle.
Thank you, the miracle of the oil. And so they fry all their foods in oil to celebrate that miracle. That's
right, to celebrate the fact that the oil lasted the full 8 days of Hanukkah. So lots. I mean, that's the lovely reason. The other fantastic reason is because then you get to eat all this fantastic food that's fried, latkes and donuts,
silver linings.
Oh, it's beautiful. Last year, my buddy put out a Bluetooth speaker and set it up on a folding chair, and we had a sing along to. He had a rabbinical hip hop playing until the speaker batteries blew out in the cold. It was like -7. It was just so cold. This year, hopefully, it won't be quite as cold. So that's my personal Hanukkah experiences. Sounds like, Chris, you've had some lovely ones, and with a housemate too.
Yeah, and I just gotta say, because I'm obsessed now, I discovered babka. Oh my God, where has this been all my life? Holy cow. So someone showed up to an event with this slice of heaven on a plate. And so I don't even know. I guess there's different versions of it, but it's this rolled up pastry with cream and chocolate. And I couldn't believe how good it was. I still gasp when I think of my first experience of babka. So there's a bakery called Richmond Bakery up, North Toronto. And I went on I hesitate to use the word pilgrimage because that would be irreverent, but my God. Speaking of Jewish pastries, oh my gosh, it was so good. So we're going to talk about Kwanzaa too, because this is it was a bit of a mystery to me. So can we kind of unpack the visuals of this holiday?
Yeah, Kwanzaa is an interesting holiday. I don't have much personal experience with it, but it's quite a fascinating holiday. So Kwanzaa is an amalgam of various harvest celebrations from different parts of Africa. And it's a distinctly African-American holiday that was created with great thought and intention. It was an intentionally created holiday. In 1966, Maulana Karenga, who's an African-American author and activist, went on to become a professor of African studies. He's credited for having created Kwanzaa. The thought was that African Americans were a people whose cultural ties had been ruthlessly severed when they were brought to the Americas. And then in the Americas, they were kind of given the holiday of the dominant society to celebrate. And so what Karenga did was create Kwanzaa to give African Americans an alternative, to give them a cultural celebration that was unique to their experiences and heritage. This was in 1966, and it has since grown. I think there are now something like 30 million people who celebrate or mark the occasion of Kwanzaa, or the holiday of Kwanzaa worldwide. Yeah, quite a fascinating holiday. The 7 days of Kwanzaa are December 26th to January 1st, and each of the 7 days is dedicated to a different principle. There's unity and self-determination, collective work, cooperative economics, purpose, creativity, and faith. And the celebratory symbols are kind of pulled from a variety of traditions. Rick's got a picture up here for us that have a few of those symbols. And we're going to, again, talk about several of them. For example, there's a straw mat. There's a straw mat in this picture. The straw mat represents community values. There's a wooden cup at the center of this picture. That's a cup that is there to represent the idea of sharing. There's dried corn. This is a cob of red corn, a yellow and golden orange corn, and a blue corn, a piece of blue corn. And corn is used to demonstrate growth and prosperity. So all of these different symbols relate to specific ideas, specific values, community values. Households during Kwanzaa are often decorated in woven African cloths, often very bright colors, Pan-African colors, yellow, red, and green. And again, different families are going to be pulling from their own personal histories, their own personal traditions, their own, their own personal origin stories to decorate their households. But quite typically, these Pan-African colors, yellow, red, and green, with lots of repeating patterns of lines and shapes in the fabrics. And then bowls and plates of fresh fruit are both served and displayed. Fruit to represent abundance, right? This is a time of plenty. This is the harvest. This is when we are sharing our food with our friends and family. And then nightly, during Kwanzaa, the 7 nights of Kwanzaa, you light the kinara. This is a candelabrum with 7 holders, so very similar in concept to the menorah. A kinara tends to be made of wood. The candles are set up in a row, so not so much that one U shape under the other, more typically in a straight row. Green on one side, red on the other, and then the black or the darkest candle in the center. That's the helper there. Now, I've never been to a Kwanzaa celebration. It is more of a U.S. tradition than a Canadian one, but like I said, it is celebrated worldwide. I've never been. Have you been to a Kwanzaa celebration, Chris or Amy? Have you been to a Kwanzaa celebration?
No.
Has it been part of your life or part of your holiday season?
Not for me, no. But I love the idea of creating your own, your own symbols, or your own collection of symbols, or your own way of expressing the same, because we're all expressing the same values, right? It doesn't matter what holiday tradition you're coming from. I think the values on display are the same. And so to reclaim some of your own meaning out of things and to synthesize something, and it becomes meaningful because you have created it. And I would love to be welcomed in a space where that kind of thing was going on. It just hasn't happened in my life so far. How about you, Amy?
Yeah, no, I've not also had the gift of being invited, I suppose, to a space where Kwanzaa is being celebrated.
I'm with you. That I love the intentionality about this. Like I find that quite fascinating, and the fact that it has grown. Like this is a holiday that was invented using existing traditions, using existing symbols, and pulling from I mean, who knows how many number of different harvest celebrations from all around the continent of Africa, pulling all of these together to create a new holiday. But then for that new holiday to have grown to be celebrated by 30 million people worldwide, I mean, that's phenomenal. It's really quite inspiring.
I was just going to say, it reminds me a little bit of Wicca because
Yeah.
the things in Wicca, people say, oh, these are pre-Christian, and they are. Wicca draws from pre-Christianity and a lot of its symbolism and meanings, but Wicca as such is actually a sort of modern reconstruction of pre-Christian beliefs. And so it feels familiar to me in that respect because I have a bit of experience with Wicca, which has, sort of done the same thing, tried to look back before some of the traditions that maybe we don't feel so comfortable with, back to some other things that feel a bit more meaningful.
Does Christmas have candles? I don't remember if Christmas, because I know Kwanzaa
Yeah.
and Hanukkah do now.
I mean, traditionally, a lot of the lights that twinkle in our trees now originally were lit candles. The very first lights in Christmas trees were the very small candles, and you would drip a little bit of wax onto the end of the branch, and you would stick the candle onto the branch. That was how candles were, or lights were originally put in trees, which always seems.
Hope you don't burn your house down.
I know, like, what kind of an idea? It must have been gorgeous. I mean, purely from a visual standpoint, actual candles flickering in the tree. I mean, it must look fantastic, but I would be terrified. I mean, what kind of a concept is this? Let's take a tree, make sure it's nice and dry, put it in our house, and then stick a bunch of candles in it. Oh my goodness.
There's a Tim Burton movie in there, right?
Yeah, probably.
Right. The Tim Burton movie in there. Well, I think maybe what we'll do next is we'll bring Donna into the space. So Rick, you can take down the Kwanzaa image, and thank you for that. We'll bring Donna into the space because we're going to do some prize draws. We're going to do prize draws through each of our segments. So let's bring Donna in. We're going to pull 3 names, which I think means that, JJ, Christine, and I each get to pull a name. Woohoo.
Oh.
So there's Donna. JJ, you want to go first? Donna is,
Sure.
For folks who are new, Donna's shuffling up the names of all of our participants this evening. And
Attendez, s'il vous plaît. I have a question for 2 people in our audience.
Okay.
To see if they would like to identify themselves to be added into the pot. We have someone named Kim's iPad, I believe. Kim's iPad. We have 2 Kims, but we also have Kim Horsman, who might be Josie. So if Kim would like to
Sure, go ahead.
identify. Oh, is this Josie?
This is Josie and Kim. Yes, yeah.
Perfect. Okay, that's what I thought. Great. So we'll put Josie. See, I had Josie right here. Josie's
Awesome.
going in the pot. Thank you. And then we also have iPhone. If iPhone would like to be added into the bag, we'll give them a moment to unmute. Oh,
Could be
Hi, it's me. I think
Yeah.
it's me. Rosina.
who's me?
Rosina.
Rosina. Great. Okay. I'm going to put you down, Rosina.
Thank you. I don't know how to add
Great.
this my name on the Zoom. I have a new phone, so I don't know anybody can help me with that.
That's a conversation for outside of this space, I think, Rosina.
I know.
Yeah. Well, as long as we know that you're in there, if iPhone comes up, we got Rosina.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome.
Okay. Now
All right.
we are ready.
We're
Okay.
ready. JJ, you want to go first?
Sure. I'll go with Kwanzaa.
Kwanzaa. It's Louise.
Louise wins a holiday prize. Friends, we're just collecting the names at this point, and we will make sure we get you all of your holiday prizes. We may have to get addresses to ship things, but we will do that. So Donna's keeping the names. All right, my friend Chris, you're up.
I have another little musical offering. One of the things that
Oh, no, you got to give us a name, you
Oh,
got to
no,
give us
oh
a
my God,
word.
Sorry, I was just jumping right in. I'm such a narcissist. Oh my gosh. I was used to there being one door prize, one prize. I'm sorry. I'm overexcited. Throw me a chew toy. Okay. I will pick the word Solstice.
Solstice. And it is Sandra Bell.
Sandra, congratulations.
Okay.
All right, Donna, mix up those names. I'm going to say Hanukkah.
Hanukkah. It's Chantel Oaks.
Wonderful. Awesome. So we got our first 3 prize draws of the night. Thank you, Donna. Now, Christine, you can go
How
ahead.
embarrassing. Oh my God.
I'm going to throw you a chew toy, and you can
Thank you.
share your
Please
second
do
song.
that. Please do that.
Your second
It's because there's
song.
always one prize at the end, right? There's one prize. You get it, right? Yeah. Okay. I'm so embarrassing. Okay. Okay. Now I'm too shy to introduce. Anyway, okay. So this next little musical offering is the group that I sing with. We like to invent new words. We call ourselves the Jamily, which is an amalgam of jam and family. We are the Jamily. And so one of the fun things we do sometime is a round song. So that's where it's very simple. You might have 4 lines and one person starts it and then they sing the first line. And then as they are singing the second line, another person sings the first line. And so you've heard round songs for sure. Once you hear this, you'll know, you'll recognize them. So this year like last week I came up with 4 lines and I called up a couple of my singing friends and I said, can you come over so we can record this? And so they came over and I told them the 4 lines and we sang it through a couple of times. And so this is a very improvised and impromptu sort of a thing, but music sometimes is like that, and it's the most fun that way. So again, with the with the solstice theme, it's just a pretty round song. It's not a circle round. It's not round like a ball. It's a round as in going around and around. Sorry. And so my friends Dan and Nadine came over to my house and we just recorded this little solstice round. So Rick, I believe the same image as before is going to be up. Is that correct, JJ?
Yeah,
I believe it will be. Yep.
Okay, so Rick, whenever you're ready, you could play the round. Thank you.
Sing for the moon, sing for the earth, sing the sun back to the sky, sing for rebirth, sing for the moon, sing for the earth, sing the sun back to the sky, sing for rebirth, sing for the moon, sing for the earth, sing the sun back to the sky, sing for rebirth, sing for the moon, sing for the earth, sing the sun back to the sky, sing for rebirth, sing for the moon, sing for the earth, sing the sun back to the sky, sing for rebirth, sing for the moon, sing for the earth, sing the sun back to the sky, sing for rebirth, sing for the moon, sing for the earth, sing the sun back to the sky, sing for rebirth, sing for the moon, sing for the earth, sing the sun back to the sky, sing for rebirth.
So the great thing about rounds is that you can just be playful. And so, like I said, we maybe sang through it, a few times. And before we recorded, but it's so simple. And if you're a little bit experienced with it, you can just start playing around. So for example, Dan, the male voice, he sort of did a drone there for a while. He wasn't speaking, he was just doing a drone, like a bagpipe kind of thing. And I was doing a consistent same thing over and over because I knew it best. So it made sense for me to just sort of lead. But they could just follow and do playful things and skip lines or jump ahead or just basically fit themselves into the pattern and out of the pattern and back into the pattern. So round songs are great fun, and they take a certain amount of really pleasant focus because you sort of sink into them, but you sort of have to pay attention to where you are. And they're great practice for things like harmony and multi-part songs and things like that. So very kind of improvised, but very fun and sweet.
I love being able to hear that, like the harmonies that are being created, and know that, like you said, a lot of that is improvised.
Yeah.
And those are when I'm in like singing circles, which doesn't happen as much as I would like it to, I will say. It's one of the most joyous things. You bring
like
in
to
some little hand drums and stuff, and
Sure. Okay,
Yeah,
that's on the agenda, Amy. Next time I'm there, that's one of the things we're gonna do.
Yes, I love it. Let's do it.
I love that it builds that a song with many voices becomes more than the sum of its parts. Like it really does. There's something about the round, the collection of voices becomes a whole new enterprise, a whole new band, a whole new orchestra of voices. So even though I knew that intellectually that was only 3 voices, I was sure at some points I could hear a 4th or maybe a 5th. Like there was something about that. Yeah, and like I'm not sure that like I say, it just elevates. And once again, my friend, beautifully done.
I feel like there's self-described. I'm pressing my hand to my heart. Thank you. There's something synesthetic about it, which means like when your senses get a little scrambled, so you might feel a color, or you might hear a texture, or you might taste a feeling, or when your senses become a bit not miswired, but sometimes it can happen with drugs, but sometimes people experience it in nature. Sometimes people are synesthetic, they have it. But for me, when I listen to a round, I get that feeling like it stimulates the spatial centers in my brain somehow, and I feel like there's this architecture, and there's like a building or a room or a space, something spatial happens for me when I listen to a round. It's not just an auditory experience for me, it becomes very spatial.
That's interesting.
Well, shout out to our friends in the space today who are also in many choirs that are happening this holiday season. I think Good Noises choir is happening this weekend, and I think Betty Noble sings in that one, if I'm not mistaken. Richard's a choir. Lots of Peg sings. Lots of folks in our community sing and are part of choirs. So shout out to choirs and musical collectives.
To the singers. Everyone should sing. It doesn't matter how you sound. It matters how it makes you feel. Yeah.
I agree. I sing all the time, and I don't really care what people think.
Yay!
Especially when I do an audition and somebody says, "Can you sing?" and it says, I say to them, "Well, can and do are 2 different things." Right?
I do
sing. Yeah. Whether it's going to please your ear or not, that's a whole other discussion. But I'm not embarrassed to belt it out.
You know what's funny is I would say that I'm someone who can't sing, but I would stand on stage and perform a fake opera before I could sing Happy Birthday. Happy Birthday is like deadly for me. But I'll get up and make any kind of show. I'd like that doesn't bother me. I'll get up on stage and embarrass myself in 1,000 different ways. Yeah. Totally. But if it's just me left to like carry a small, simple tune, I crumble.
Buffoon. That's what I'm hearing, JJ. You're a buffoon.
I'm a total buffoon, and I can own that. But just don't let me be raw and naked enough to sing like a simple song. Interesting.
JJ's nightmare is to sing a description of someone standing in front of him. That's your worst time right there. In song, I want you to describe me.
Describe me also in improvised. Song, and also improvised.
Yeah, oh my God.
No prep time. No prep time.
Well, on that note of laughter, I think we should do another prize draw.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I think we should do it.
I'm
Donna's
in.
gonna be like on, off, on, off, on, off. So we're bringing Donna back in. I think we're bringing Donna back in.
We are, and I have to turn on my thing and then add my spotlight and.
Oh, I know. There's so many things for you to do. I appreciate you coming in.
Okay.
We're gonna do reverse order this time. I'll always go last just because I like to go last. We're gonna start with Christine pulling a name this time.
Okay, I'm not gonna sing now. I'm gonna pull a name. I get it. I get it. I get it this time. Okay. Harmony.
Harmony, and it's Ruth Bieber.
Ruth! Fun little holiday prize going to Ruth.
I'm gonna go with Candy Cane.
Candy Canes, and it's Faye.
Hey, congratulations, Faye.
Okay. And
I'm
Amy?
going to say Snowflake.
Snowflake. You are a special snowflake, Amy.
Aw.
This is Andrew.
Awesome, Andrew. Yeah. I melt when I hit the ground. Special. There you go. Thanks, Donna. Fun stuff. I love giving away free things. And again, they're just fun little simple holiday prizes, friends. Don't I'm not sending you $1 million. I'm really sorry. I can't do that.
In the new year, maybe.
In the new year. If I win the lottery, maybe we'll have a whole different kind of almost live event. Wouldn't that be fun?
In a hot tub full of champagne, there Amy will be.
You are singing my song, my friend. That is my vibe. So I know we have some holiday, one of the things that I think about when I walk through the cities or what's happening in other cities across the world, but North America in particular, where we are, is the kinds of displays that are in holiday windows, because some of them get to be really big and really extravagant. So I know we wanted to share a couple of those that are happening maybe in some people's neighborhoods near you, kind of thing.
Yeah, the Christmas display thing is really interesting. Local shops, big department stores. Like Chris, is this on your radar at all? The Christmas displays?
It's not anymore. When I was a kid, it was a thing in my family. So there's 5 kids and I was the youngest. And so it was a thing, I'm making air quotes, where, there'd be one night where we'd go out, like me and my mom and whatever other kids close enough in age cared about it. And, do the walk through sort of the commercial district, as it were, downtown Toronto, big deal. And, we'd talk window displays. And so, as a kid, for sure, in my adult life, I must say it's kind of become a zero. But I know that culturally it's big. And so I guess in Toronto, one of the biggest ones is the Hudson's Bay, right?
Yeah, the Bay building, or the formerly Simpsons building. I mean, it's changing hands a bunch. It's the spot. That's the spot that I went to when I was a kid to see. Like to go see the display. And it's amazing how long people have been doing this idea of turning a retail space into not only a place where you should buy your Christmas presents, but a place that you need to go as part of your Christmas tradition, right? Like stores, they just want they not only want your business, but if they can get you to turn to think of their establishment, their store, as being part of your Christmas, then they're in forever, right?
Yeah.
So this has been going on since the 1870s. Like the very first Christmas displays were done in the 1870s. And like you say, families make the trip downtown. You take a look at the displays. Maybe you go inside, visit Santa Claus, you do your shopping. It's all part of the idea is it's part of your Christmas tradition, your family's tradition. Typically, a lot of these big department stores that still do it, but originated. These are the big, like classic North American department stores, stately buildings, often sandstone or brick, usually often on a corner, a big corner building, maybe 3 to 5 stories tall. The big American department stores, like the New York or Chicago department stores, they might be as tall as like 15 stories. with rows of windows on each and every floor, with chiseled detailing above the windows and on the columns between the windows. And then at street level, you tend to have these great big windows with what amount to display spaces, like display rooms inside. Some of these display rooms are just a few feet deep, but others might be huge, like the size of a bedroom. And there'll be big awnings often stretching out over the sidewalk. And then, yeah, these display rooms behind these windows are kind of like bedrooms where the long wall is just a picture window that's facing the street. And so people people come up to the buildings and they stand outside, sometimes behind velvet ropes. In Toronto right now, there are the ropes and stanchions to keep people a few feet away, so you're not smudging the glass and whatnot. And then you go and you check out the displays inside. The Simpsons building at Queen and Yonge Street in Toronto has been the place to go here for a long time. It's been known as the Hudson Bay building since 1991. When I was a kid, the Eaton Center is the mall across the street from this spot. And I used to love slipping onto this funny little second floor balcony in the Eaton Center that was mostly used by store clerks who were going out on a smoke break. And I would go out and sneak out onto this little outdoor balcony. And I guess I've always been a people watcher. I would stand on this balcony across from the display windows, and I could see the crowds as well as the displays because I was just a little bit back and a little bit higher than everyone. And you can check out the displays. In the early days, the displays were focused on presenting the merchandise, right? So one window might be the big toys for the kids. Here are the big flashy toys that are going to be sold this year, and they'd arrange the toys in a very appealing way. Maybe another window would be for gifts for mom, and another window gifts for dad. Very classic ideas. Sometimes there would be moving elements or a little bit of automation, right? Like a moving train set or some flashing lights, or just like Amy's background, right? Like maybe some snowflakes on strings that would slowly move as if you had a little fan in the room. Very simple, very classic, kind of like giant dioramas, the kind of dioramas that you would make in public school. But these days, they're a lot flashier. So in Toronto this year, the Bay is going for this kind of retro high-tech Christmas factory thing. And each window is a different peek into a different part of Santa's imagined workshop. So one window has this great big white computer that looks like a 1980s robot. There's a long list of naughty and nice names that scroll by on a dot matrix printer. Rick's got a picture of it here that's coming up. There's a pneumatic tube system that actually shuttles these canisters through white tubes, presumably going from one department to another. Again, like very, like I said, retro high tech. There's another window that features identical white gift boxes tied with red ribbons on winding conveyor belts. And then there are these like assembly line robots that are supposed to be working overhead, the kind of assembly line robot arms you would find in an actual car factory, like a car manufacturing facility. But these are red and they look like they're working. And then the background of that display window is actually a giant screen. It's a digital version of the same scene with the gift boxes on the winding conveyor belts, and it kind of makes it look like that conveyor belt system just goes on and on and on and forever and ever. There's another window that's it's a candy cane assembly line, and then the final window in the Hudson's Bay display is it's like a shot or a diorama outside of Santa's workshop, and all these little tiny animatronic snowmen are making angels on a snowy hillside. So these little doll-sized snowmen with arms going up and down, up and down, up and down, making snow angels. And so that's the Toronto, like that's kind of the big showstopper in Toronto. Macy's in New York City.
Before you go on to Toronto or leave Toronto, what is like the vibe of this window? Like color scheme wise, texture wise, is there a vibe?
Yeah, so outside they've got it's reds and gears and pipes and bolts, like again going for that kind of retro look. And then inside it's super clean and crisp. So it's very like a clean blue lighting in lots of these spaces. And then the retro futuristic design of everything. So everything's clean lines and lots of white conveyor belts with accents in the Christmas colors of reds and greens and a little tiny bit of like silver and gold. That's kind of what the Toronto thing is going for.
And I think very clean because you would expect a factory to be clean.
Yes,
right? Like
just
very
immaculate,
like sterile looking almost.
Yeah, exactly. That's
holiday
right.
Sterile.
No elves in this one. This one is an elf-free facility. These toys are made in an elf-free facility.
I love it. All right.
Yeah, so then in New York, like New York City, Macy's is really the OG of Christmas displays. They were the first major department store to create these kind of must-visit displays. And so not only do they do the outside windows, but they've got the mall Santa experience that is the kind of beyond compare. They do what's called Santa Land. It's a winter village that takes over the entire 8th floor of the flagship New York City store. 1,300 square feet, and it's a walk-through experience. So there's a walkway that leads you past these Christmas vignettes and displays. And Rick's put an image up for us that's kind of looking down one of these pathways. And to the right, there's a little winter village with some fake, or like a little winter scene with some fake snow and some little snowmen. And then on the left there in the distance, there's a gingerbread house. And this is the kind of scene that you find if you go to Santa Land. These kind of cabin-sized gingerbread houses, like maybe a bake shop, or there's a model train set sized retro New York City streetscape. Lots of Christmas trees being decorated by like animatronic polar bears and top hats and scarves. So you kind of make your way through, you wind your way through. It's kind of like if you've ever been to Disneyland, Disney does the beginning of rides better than anyone else. Most other organizations or like theme parks or something, the lineup is just the lineup and then you get to the ride. But at Disney, the line to get to the ride is a bit of a ride in and of itself. It's so heavily designed and decorated. And this is a bit what this is like. Everywhere, like as you follow the path through Santa Land, you get to experience these little vignettes, these little scenes, these little houses. There are volunteers and elves that will wave to you, say hello, hand out candy canes. And then finally, this all leads to a visit with Santa Claus. Now, in the old days, it would be Santa sitting on a big throne and you sit on Santa's lap. Not in the COVID era. In the COVID era, Santa is behind a desk at his workshop cabin. And there are these giant gift boxes that are stacked in front of the desk. And that's where you're invited to sit and pose for your picture with Santa Claus at Santa Land. Did either of you guys ever sit on Santa's lap? Was that a thing when you were a kid?
Yeah, and it's kind of gross now when you look back on it. You don't want to sit on some old strange man who's dressed in this funny suit and like, why did they think that was a great idea? You know, is that ever gonna be a thing? Because I don't think the vibe is there anymore.
It's definitely changing. It's definitely shifting. There are some places I've seen that do sit on Santa's lap. I've also seen instead of Santa having a throne, Santa's got a couch. So you sit beside, bench, something like that.
Oh, well, that's a bit more, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little less,
civilized.
especially,
I may have shared this with you all last year when I did this when we did this holiday surprise party. I worked when I was a teenager as a Santa's elf.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. So I worked at the Santa Land in the mall, and some of the most fun stuff actually was walking from our little dressing room, which was like, a storefront that had been abandoned or didn't have anything in it, down from hall, right? Like it's the back ends of the mall.
Yeah.
And we would walk through the mall to get to Santa Land. So it was like a bit of a parade with Santa and his elves following him to Santa Land, and all the kids that would stop and be like, "Oh my gosh, it's Santa! Oh my god!" Right? And it was so much joy. I was maybe 16, maybe 15, 16, and 17. Maybe I did that for about 3 years.
Wow.
And I had a purple. I got to pick whether I wanted purple or green because the mall's colors were purple and green. So it was a crushed velvet dress with puffy sleeves. Yeah,
I want one.
Black tights and
Seriously?
little belt, like not elf shoes, but just bells that we would wear around our ankles. And I was the elf that stood at the entrance and talked to the parents and said, and to the kids, and would say, "Oh, what's your name?" And somebody would say, "I'm little Jimmy," and "I'm little, I don't know, Trisha," or whoever. And I would speak into a microphone as they would walk into towards Santa. I'd say, "Okay, Trisha and Jimmy, it's time to go in." And Santa would say, "Oh, Jimmy, right?" And be like, "How does he know my name?" Right? And then I would stand there with the parents usually, because most kids came with parents or with grandparents, and I'd say, "Is there something they really want for Christmas that, that we can mention, or a pet in the family?" Right? Where it's like little Smokey the dog, you got a new puppy, you got to be good.
This is creepy, Amy.
This is getting creepy. But it was so much fun. It was so much fun to see their faces. And then we also we would do a portrait, which was great because our Santa Land had a Santa's workshop in it. So you would come and talk to Santa around the workshop and you didn't have to sit on his lap. And this was, I was 16 years old, so we're going back 25 years ish. Right. But what was nice is we also offered family to have a video with Santa. So you could have like a 10-minute video visit, and then you could send that video to like grandparents across the country and things like that. It was kind of nice. It was kind of nice. And then I would have a banana muffin for lunch from Muffins.
Yeah, I was gonna say a muffin. Yeah.
A muffin, which no longer exists. But there you go. So Santa and I were good friends at one time.
You go way back.
Santa and I go way back. Yeah.
See, I'm obsessed with the movie A Christmas Story. So I'm picturing Amy going, "Come on."
Yeah. You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Shoot your eye out.
Get up there.
No, but the elf especially. Does the elf say that too? But the really mean elf, like, "Come on."
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a particular head movement of that elf that's
is there?
whipping her head back and forth. Come on, get up here. So that the pom-pom on the top of her hat whips back and forth.
Oh, menacing.
Yeah.
I want to hear Amy do that one time.
Those were the days. I don't have a mean bone in my body. Unless
I know.
Unless you trigger it.
Well, but you're an actor.
That's true.
You could act mean.
I could.
Then you could always fall back on that. It's maybe it's not even true. Maybe you do have a mean bone in your body, but you cover it up. Just kidding.
I'm a really good actor.
Yeah, you are. I'm sure you are. So there's a place in Vancouver that's new to me, Potters.
Yes.
I hate to admit it's new to me too.
Potters. I've only read about this. I've never been. So the thing with all this crazy decorating that you can do, that the malls do, that used to just be you would have to go to the mall to experience this level of decoration, but not anymore. Right now, anyone can put up these extreme decorations. Strings of lights in any color, twinkling and blinking and shimmering patterns. You can get projectors that project images and lights onto the front of your house. You can have inflatables. Inflatables are huge. There's a whole street in Toronto where every house on the street has decided to put up a gigantic 20-foot tall inflatable Santa. So I can't, it's like something like 40 of them in a row. And like, it's just huge. But like Potter's Christmas store in Vancouver is one of these places that has turned itself into a Christmas decoration like mecca. This is a place to go. They advertise themselves as being the biggest Christmas store west of the Rockies, and it's a nursery that turns itself into a Christmas store every winter, and it's 2,800 square feet. That's twice as big as an NHL hockey rink. So it's a massive warehouse style space. Tree ornaments, lanterns, snow globes, candles. Rick's got a picture up here of like this fake green foliage with white spray painted snow on top of it. Santa holding stacks of presents. All of these are ornaments and decorations that you can buy, take home, decorate your house with inside and out. One of the interesting things about the photos anyway that I've seen of this store is it looks like they have organized a lot of the building by color. So going through the facility, going through this this building, it looks to me through the photos anyway, like it is itself a pleasant visual experience. It's not just like going to a department store. The displays within the store are beautifully Christmassy and color coordinated. It's very well designed, very well laid out. The website also lists what they call a dark room, which is illuminated. This is what it says on their website: illuminated by more than 75 different Christmas themed canvas paintings and over 60 different Christmas themed water lanterns. But I couldn't find any images of this. This dark room that is lit with canvas paintings and water lanterns. I mean, it sounds stunning. Amy, you haven't been to this place before. This is new to you, Potters?
I don't even, does it say whereabouts in the Vancouver area it is?
I didn't get the address for it, so I'm not sure what part of Vancouver it's in. But it's certainly not downtown at 2,800 square feet. I know how much. Donna says it's in Surrey, actually.
Oh, okay, it's in Surrey.
Oh, is it in Surrey? Oh, there you go. I thought it was right in.
Well, we call that, it's all part of the Metro Vancouver area, truly. 44 municipalities in the Greater Vancouver Regional District.
Ah, there you go. So that's how they can claim to be Vancouver, even though it's Surrey.
Yeah.
So, Donna, have you been? Is this a place that you've been to before, Potters?
No, I had never heard of it, and then I looked it up when we were doing our testing before, and you mentioned it.
It looks fascinating. I mean, I'm sure it would be rather overwhelming. You would really have to be in the mood. But
and
yeah,
it seems to me that a lot of the aisles are really squishy together. Squishy.
Yeah, I mean,
so I would think that I'd turn and like my bag would hit something.
Yeah. And everything's probably, glass, breakable ornament or something, or you're going to have trees that hit each other like a domino effect, like one tree into another or something. Yeah.
We've got a hand from Elsie, and Elsie had a hand before we started, but I'm going to just see if Elsie wants to share. Maybe Elsie's been to Potters.
Yes, I've been to Potters. It is in Surrey. And actually they move already, but there are other garden areas that they do a lot of beautiful Christmas display. There's one that is Art Naps, and that's also in Surrey. And they make it really, really beautiful. They have a train that goes around the Christmas tree and the village. So yeah, and of course you heard about the Van Dusen Garden. That's a must to go if you're in Vancouver area. That's a very, very beautiful place to go to see all the beautiful lights that are displayed there. The garden, I forget how big that is, but it's a famous garden right in downtown Vancouver. But Potter, Art Naps, there's also West Coast Garden. Unfortunately, they're all in Surrey. And they always put a beautiful display of Christmas display every year after year.
Yeah.
There's no shortage of things to go experience, probably in just about any, metro.
Yes. Yeah, and there's no charge. Van Dusen, though, there's a charge. And right now, I miss going to it. There's the bright lights happening in Stanley Park. Yeah. And it's sponsored by the fire departments, I think. A group of my walking group are supposed to go there. Yesterday they went, I didn't go. But
we've done VocalEye's done some descriptions at like the Christmas train and at Halloween time, but haven't in the last little bit. But had a video of it last year, which was beautiful.
That was lovely. I remember that.
I was about to ask JJ, it's funny. I had a question lined up and then I realized it was absurd. So my question was, JJ, from a sighted standpoint, what differentiates good Christmas decorations from tacky cheese Christmas decorations. But then I remembered who I was talking to because I remember a conversation we had about this where you described that the Hunt Lindsay family Christmas experience in your house is pretty much who can out cheese who.
That's right.
And so
Yeah.
I guess you have no aesthetics around. Well,
Tacky
you have
is
aesthetics
king.
around Christmas,
That's
but
right.
you're maybe not the best person to ask about what makes, classy, good stuff versus
Well,
not so
yeah,
much.
see, therein would lie my answer. I would say that really it's all about your personal history, right? So
Mm.
one person's tacky decoration is another person's beautiful decoration. That's what resonates for them because it's either what they grew up with or what they, what they always longed to have. My dad was someone who loved, do you remember like tinsel that you would put on a tree?
Of course.
Thin strands of like tinfoil, basically.
Yeah.
That you would drape on the branches of the tree. And my dad grew up in a household without a lot of money, and that was one of those things that was an indulgence that he never got to have. And so for him, tinsel was the epitome of a classy Christmas that he could never have. And then I grew up and I thought the tinsel was hilarious. Like it looked so tacky and cheap to me. My friends would come over and laugh at the tinsel all over the tree. The cats were coughing it up all over the place because my dad had so much tinsel. But for him, it was his childhood dream to have a tree that would glisten and shimmer with tinsel. Like it was such a, so that's what I would say. It has more to do with the individual than necessarily to do with what actual aesthetic is.
That's a great answer.
Yeah.
And I think there are some people that are maybe not celebrating Christmas in particular, but actually have the tree in their house.
Yeah,
right?
for
It's
sure.
less about a religious holiday for them, but they like the decoration piece. And there's some people that I know that do this. So they have a holiday tree, but there isn't anything on there that is representative of air quotes Christmas. So they may have, for example, a John Deere tractor covered in snow, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So we would maybe call those tacky ornaments, but for them, that's the kind of ornaments they want.
That's right. I think a lot of the outdoor lights are like that, like whether or not you're celebrating Christmas or whether Christmas is a particularly religious celebration for your household, the lights on the outside of the house, they just look beautiful when they're covered in snow, or when the snow melts just a little bit on the warm lights that have been wrapped around the hedges or something. There's a particular look with the lights glistening off the snow and the white all around. It doesn't matter if it's a Christmas celebration. It's a winter celebration.
Celebration.
Yeah.
I heard ceramic trees have made a comeback. I didn't know they ever went away, but those little tabletop ceramic, I want one of those.
Oh, my grandmother had a few of those that she made, and you put the little tiny light bright lights in them.
Yeah. And again, I think it's because we had one when I was a kid. It's all about when you're a kid.
And nostalgia.
Yeah, totally.
Well, speaking of nostalgia, this is not a great segue, but I'm going to say, I remember just giving away some holiday gifts last segment. Maybe let's bring a little nostalgia back and
you made it work, Amy.
Donna into the space. Who doesn't like to get a cheesy holiday gift? I like to give them. Let's bring Donna into the space.
There I am.
Donna, there you are. All right, JJ, we're gonna pull another 3 names. You're gonna be first. Up for this first one.
All right. Thinking of my dad, I'm gonna go with tinsel.
Tinsel. And it's Shelly.
Shelly, congratulations, Shelly. Awesome.
Right.
All right, Chris. This is gonna be the running joke. Would you like to sing a word?
I would like to sing. Oh, I sing the word. Okay. Marzipan. Don't challenge me to stuff like this. You'll regret it.
Well, you probably can't read my writing. That says peg.
Peg. Wonderful peg. Awesome. And now I need to pull a word. I'm going to say reindeer.
I'm not going to pull it until you sing your word, Amy.
All right. Next round is a musical round.
Reindeer.
Ooh, I
Very
love
nice. And that goes to Pierre.
Yeah, wonderful. Congratulations, friends.
Thank you, reindeer.
Ah,
Who drew the name with marzipan?
Marzipan, Chris.
And what name was it?
Well, you were one of
was
the three
Peg.
names, Peg.
Pardon? It was me?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Oh.
There you go.
All right.
Happy holidays.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think moving on, I thought maybe we could play a little holiday trivia, friends. Anybody up for some holiday trivia? I'm up for some holiday trivia. So I've compiled approximately 20 questions here. There may be a bonus or two. And I'll just say, friends, this is all in the spirit of fun, right? So I'd love us to use the raise your hand function if you want to play. I'm not keeping points. You'll learn a little something. You can shout it out at your screen, even if you're muted, because to keep it fair, well, I'll stay muted. But I did this when we played trivia. I just shout it out at my screen. That's what I do when I watch Jeopardy. I know the answer. I'm so excited. I can shout it out. So I thought we would play a little trivia. So JJ, may I ask you, as our most cited person in the space, to maybe just keep your hand on the raise your hand button to call on whoever might raise their hand first.
All right. I will do my best.
I know you will. I know you will. Because I'm gonna have my Word document open with all my questions and answers. So here we go, friends. Holiday Trivia 2022. There's a little bit of song lyric trivia, a little bit of non-secular trivia, a little bit of there's a little bit of everything, a little bit of famous holiday quotes. Let's do this. So, friends, according to NPR, which is a popular media thing in the United States, if you don't know NPR, what two things popularized the red and green colors of Christmas? What two things? We have no hands. Ooh, I stumped you on the first question. Okay, well, here it is. The answer is holly. And secondly, no, you would think it was berries. It's actually Coca-Cola.
Oh,
Coca-Cola.
Yeah,
that's terrible.
Right? From the 1931 advertisement, Coca-Cola. And this was an article that was written on behalf of the secret language of color, told by NPR. So there you go. I thought that was interesting.
Well, interesting. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, question number 2, friends. Name the tradition started by German Protestants and dates back to the 19th century where people lit candles or made chalk marks on their doors every day during the month of December. Any hands?
We have got one.
Is it Lori?
Correct.
Lori.
Order. Audio now unmuted.
I think it has to do counting down to Christmas.
Yeah, what's the name of the it goes by a name.
Counting down to
I'm buzzing you out, Lori.
I don't know. Sorry.
I think, is that Linda next?
Linda.
Advent.
You got it, Linda. Advent.
The Advent calendars, right?
I got a little bonus question here. The religious Advent season, celebrated by Christians, technically starts when, Linda? You get first refusal.
Oh.
You don't need a date. You just need approximate amount of time. When does that usually start?
4 Sundays before Christmas.
Correct. It is 4 weeks before Christmas, even though the Advent calendars we get today are just December. But Advent started 4 weeks before Christmas. Awesome. Very Linda, cool. I've been on trivia teams with Linda. I'm not surprised that you knew the answer to that one, Linda. All right, here's the next question. According to the National Confectioners Association, what was invented in 1670 and began decorating holiday trees in America in 1847?
Oh, Lori?
Order.
Candy canes.
Audio now.
Yeah, you got it. It's candy canes. Here's a bonus for you, Lori. You get first refusal. Why are candy canes shaped the way they are?
Because they would use them to walk with.
Nah, that's not right.
No, it's a guess.
It's a guess. It's a good guess, but it's not correct.
Linda?
The shepherd's crook.
You got it. Yeah, it's the shepherd's hook. That's visual of the candy cane is to replicate the shepherd's hook. Here we go with question 4. Now, you know what? I'm going to skip question 4. I don't like that one. We did that one last. Well, okay. We did it. Okay, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it because it's a new statistic. So, what's the highest grossing Christmas movie of all time? We kind of did this last year, but it's a new statistic. So it's changed from last time. $513 million. Very specific. Grim? Very specific.
Yeah, that would be Home Alone.
It's not. Not according to this statistic, the new statistic.
Really?
It's not. No.
Okay.
That's why I said we did it last year.
Okay, well, they had it on the TV this year that it was Home Alone.
So Megan's next.
Megan's next. This is just a time to share your favorite holiday movie, really.
Yeah.
Megan?
Was it A Christmas Story?
No, not according to this statistic. No.
Okay.
My favorite, but
They were talking the other day about Love Actually.
It's not Love Actually. I was surprised when I read this, so I think you'll all be surprised.
all right, Elsie, I guess, is next.
Elsie?
Charlie Brown's Christmas? Come on, Amy.
No.
Is it Elf?
No, it's not Elf.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Peg, do you got the answer? Have you got the answer for us?
Peg, you're gonna unmute from Peg. All right, we're gonna skip Peg. Is that Chantel next there?
Yeah.
Sorry, I was muted. Yeah, on It's a Wonderful Life.
It's not It's a Wonderful Life.
Okay.
We're gonna just list every single Christmas movie. It's very specific. I'll give you a hint. This movie's been recreated a couple of times.
A Christmas Carol?
A Christmas Carol, yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Not a Christmas Carol.
The Grinch Who Stole Christmas.
It is. It's the Grinch Who Stole Christmas, but it's the 2018 version. The 2018 version.
Oh,
So not any other
is that
version.
Jim Carrey?
2018 version.
Is that the Jim Carrey live action one or the?
I think it might be. I'd have to go back.
No, that's older.
Oh, but-
The Jim Carrey is older than 2018.
Is it older than that? I don't
Yeah.
know. The years have flown by, Chris.
They
I don't
have.
know.
I know.
Anyway, it's all for fun. I say we go on to the next question. I knew this one was going to take a while because last year was Home Alone, and this year the statistic is saying it's the 2018 version of the Grinch.
Wow.
Anyway, so here's the next question for you all. According to PBS, some evidence suggests that gingerbread recipes existed all the way back in 2400 BC. Who is it that is known for creating the gingerbread cookie that we can eat today as part of our holiday traditions? Who? It's almost like saying who invented the gingerbread cookie? Who really did that?
Okay, I think I kind of know if no one raises
Yeah.
a hand.
All right, JJ.
Was it the Queen?
Oh, which queen?
Queen.
The Witch Queen.
No.
Sorry.
I'm trying to remember. I just did this tour. Oh, see, describers are temporary experts.
Queen
I knew this a
Elizabeth?
week ago.
It is
Victoria.
It is no, it's Queen Elizabeth.
Queen Elizabeth
but it's
the
Queen Elizabeth the first. Queen Elizabeth.
What?
The
Oh my
first.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, she had her dignitaries made into gingerbread men.
Yeah, so it says to impress a group of guests visiting the palace, the queen asked for a series of special gingerbread cookies designed to look like each visitor.
That's right.
There you go.
Yep.
Gosh.
A little bit of fun trivia. All right. Question number 6. What does the word Hanukkah mean? Where'd our TikTok go? That was tiny.
Thank you.
No takers for what the word Hanukkah
No.
means. You didn't come across this in your. Oh no, it's not festival. That's a good guess, Kelly, but it's not. Okay, I'll put you out of your misery. It means dedication.
Oh.
The word
you go.
itself means dedication.
Lovely.
Next question is another Hanukkah question, perhaps. Who was the first president of the United States to celebrate Hanukkah at the White House? Do you know?
Oh.
We have some friends from the United States. I thought maybe one of them might know. All right.
Okay, we got one.
We got a hand.
Megan.
Megan, do you know? Give Megan a moment to unmute.
Abraham Lincoln or Dwight Eisenhower?
No, those are not correct. But thanks for playing. The answer is Harry Truman. In 1951, he accepted a menorah as a gift from the Prime Minister of Israel. Does anybody want to guess who the Prime Minister of Israel was in 1951?
Ben Gurion?
Yeah, it's Ben Gurion, David Ben Gurion. Yeah.
Nicely done.
Sorry, I don't know why I just jumped right in there without even raising my hand.
That's okay. I gave the answer, so. All right, here we go. This is we talked about this in your talk about Hanukkah. So here's the trivia question to that. The largest publicly displayed menorah in the world can be found where? I'll take the city.
Oh, no guesses.
All right. No guesses.
Jerusalem?
I totally thought it would have been Jerusalem too, but it's not.
Okay, Megan's got a hand.
You got a guess, Megan?
New York City?
It's New York City, yeah. Grand Army Plaza in New York City is recorded to have the largest menorah, publicly displayed menorah.
Whoa, that's awesome.
Yeah. Now I want to do a little trivia around song lyrics.3So if you know the song that this lyric is a part of, I'm going to do my best to not sing the lyric because that'll give away the song. But I actually tried to find some that I thought were a little more obscure just to test your holiday song knowledge. But maybe I missed the mark there because I don't know a lot of the songs all the way through myself. So first one is a star dancing in the night with a tail as big as a kite.
Megan.
Oh, I know that one.
Oh, Megan's got a hand.
Do you hear what I hear?
Do you hear what I hear? That's
Yes.
correct, Megan.
Yes.
Thank you, Megan. See, maybe I made them too easy because I would not have known that was that song. So
I sang it today, so that's why I know.
Oh, there you go. You choir friends, you will know these songs really well, I'm sure. Okay. Here's another song lyric for you. Each bough doth hold its tiny light that makes each toy a sparkle bright.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, okay, Misty. Misty's got a hand up.
Hi, okay, I'm going by the meter, so I'm just gonna say, "Oh, Christmas tree, oh, Tannenbaum."
Oh, Christmas tree is correct! Yay!
Nicely done.
Nice, yeah, absolutely.
Thanks.
Okay, here's this trivia about a Christmas song. So it's not a lyric, but I guess it could be. On the third day of Christmas, my true love gave to me what?
Elsie.
Three French hen.
Three French hens. That's right. That's right. You're not supposed to sit there and sing the whole thing.
I know. I did have to do that. 302 loves and a partridge and a beer in a tree.
Oh, that's the Bob and Doug.
I love the Bob and Doug version.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was doing a version of my ukulele on the first day of Christmas. My true love gave to me a ukulele. So I said, okay, wait a minute. This is a partridge in a pear tree.
Awesome. All right, our next question is, which one of Santa's reindeer has the same name as another holiday mascot?
Oh, I got it.
You got it? No, you don't
No,
get
no.
I mean, you got it, but let's see if anybody in our group has it.
Linda.
Cupid?
It's Cupid.
I was
That's
gonna say
right,
too.
Linda.
I was thinking of Cupid. Yeah.
It took me a while to figure it out when I was trying to answer these questions, and I was like, oh man, I feel so not smart. Okay, next question I've got here. What's the name of the main villain in the movie The Nightmare Before Christmas? I know JJ knows this one.
Mhm.
The main villain.
Is that a horror movie or is it a funny movie?
It's a Tim Burton Christmas movie.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit from column A, a little bit from column B.
All right.
JJ, do you know the answer to this one?
Yes, my son went dressed as Oogie Boogie for
The Oogie Boogie.
the Oogie Boogie man. That's what he went as. He made himself an Oogie Boogie costume. I had to buy 4 rolls of burlap in order to get him that he could build his costume this year.
That's really all Mr. Oogie Boogie looks like, is a big burlap with 2 eyeballs.
just a giant burlap sack.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. In a person.
Fat. Very, very fat.
Yeah.
Because I think I remember if this is the same kid you're talking about. The tall, skinny
Oh no, it's the other one.
yellow suit. It's the other suit.
Yeah, it's the other one. The younger one, or the older one, who's the tall, skinny one, went as Jack the Pumpkin King, which is also from Nightmare Before Christmas. So yeah.
Jack the Pumpkin King. I love it.
You've got your kids brainwashed, don't you? Funny, they all seem to like the same things you like.
Isn't that amazing?
Isn't it though? How does that happen?
How does that happen? All right, next question. Anybody remember the movie The Santa Claus with Tim Allen? So he was the Santa Claus, but his character actually had a name. Does anybody know what his character name was? If you call him Santa Claus, it's wrong.
Anthony, we got a hand from Anthony.
Can we hear you, Anthony?
Kris Kringle.
Anything that's related to Santa Claus is wrong. Sprinkle, Old Saint Nick, Santa Claus, not wrong. He actually had like a human name.
A human name.
Kathy?
I think it's Scott Calvin.
It is Scott Calvin.
Wow.
Yes, Kathy. Yes.
Deep cut. Deep cut.
That's awesome. I was trying to stump a few folks, but you stumped me in return. I love it. Okay, here's our next question. What gift did the little drummer boy give to the newborn Christ?
Let's see, what is it?
I don't know. Looking for some hands.
Linda?
Oh, Linda's got a hand first.
He plays his drum.
Plays his
A
drum.
song. Yeah, he plays a song on his drum. You got it. Awesome. Okay, next question is, which fairy tale was the first gingerbread house inspired by? This should be easy.
Yeah. Linda?
Hansel and Gretel.
Yeah, Hansel and Gretel. You got it, my friend. All right. Here's a couple of famous holiday quotes, probably more Christmas than holiday, but Christmas quotes. So, who wrote, "Christmas doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas perhaps means a little bit more"? Megan. Is that Megan?
Yep.
Yes. I think it's the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Oh, we're asking for the writer.
Oh, Dr. Seuss.
Dr. Seuss,
right.
yeah. That's who wrote the quote, Dr. Seuss.
Dr. Seuss.
There you go. Next famous quote is, ready for this one? "Your children need your presence more than they need your presence." Your children need your presence more than they need your presence. All right, time to put you out of your misery. It's Jesse Jackson. Reverend Jesse Jackson.
Really?
Yeah. Famous. I thought my American friends would get this one. All right. Now the famous movie quote. Ready? This one might be a little bit hard, but then when you get it, when you hear the answer, you'll be like, "Oh, of course." That was my experience, anyways. Oh, of course. It's so obvious.
Okay.
"The best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They must be felt with the heart."
Oh,
Misty?
I think I know that one.
Wait, let's do Peg first because she chimed in before Misty's hand. So Peg?
Helen Keller.
It is Helen Keller. It is Helen Keller.
I've got that on my fridge, and somebody gave it to me. A braille thing with this lovely, with this lovely message in braille. Yeah.
This is going to be an easy one, so I imagine a lot of hands might fly up. I think it's going to be an easy one. Ready? Here's another famous Christmas holiday quote. And so this Christmas, what have you done?
Oh, my hand now raised. Reaction.
Elsie's got a hand?
Yeah.
This Christmas. Happy Christmas. The war is over by John Lennon.
John Lennon.
Oh, my hand now lower.
This is Christmas, what have you done? There you go. Okay.
Yeah, I was just practicing that in my ukulele.
There you go. Trivia pays off. Here's another famous quote for you. Aren't we forgetting the true meaning of Christmas? You know, the birth of Santa?
Trailer Park Boys. Just kidding.
Not far off.
No.
I'll give you a hint. It's a cartoon character.
Yeah.
Family Guy.
Oh, my hand now raised. Reaction.
Not Family Guy.
I don't know. I'm guessing Charlie Brown.
Oh, and the next hand is Louise.
Oh, my hand now lower. Zoom needed. You are sharing computer sound.
Okay, I thought it was Snoopy and Charlie Brown.
Not
Snoopy. Snoopy. The Snoopy Christmas. Yeah, Snoopy.
Not Snoopy. Not
okay.
Snoopy. You're gonna all have a good laugh when you hear this. JJ, do you know?
Is that Simpsons? Is that Matt Groening?
Bart Simpson.
Yeah.
I had to have a little fun in here. Okay. This is my last question, and I think it's the hardest question. It's a mathematical question, so we're going to let the TikToker go a little longer if anybody can do math fast in their head. Okay. I cannot do math at all, but not fast in my head. So here's the question. How many gifts in total were given in the 12 Days of Christmas song?
Oh,
how many gifts in total?
Oh, Linda's already got her hand
Oh,
up.
go on.
It's like 144 or something.
364.
364 is the correct answer.
I have a
Someone's got
confession.
an
I was
abacus
at
with him.
a family.
You heard that in a trivia once before, huh?
Just last Saturday. Otherwise,
This reminds me of the when I went on my cruise. The trivia question that comes up like almost in every trivia is how many bones in the human body. And it's like once you know it's 206, you know it's 206. It's kind of like a freebie.
Yeah.
There you go. I was actually expecting people to sit down and like, okay, there's 12. Okay, and then
That's what I was gonna do, and then stopped.
yeah, 364 is the correct answer. That's it, friends, for our little holiday trivia. I hope you had fun. Just a little, little fun stuff. But I'd like to continue on with a little more fun. Anybody want to do some more prize draws?
What?
I say we do some prize draws. Woo! It's kind of like giving away prizes for trivia. It's just really hard to like make sure we get the first hand up or tabulate all the scores. It's just for fun. So we'll bring Donna back into the space. We'll pull another 3 prizes.
But Amy, as someone who confessed that they do not know how to do math, we've already pulled three times, so we only have 3 more left, which I believe will go at the very end. Yes.
Oh, how did I do that, friends?
You added one in prior to the
That's exactly
trivia.
what I did. That's exactly what I did. Well, okay, then what we're gonna do then is we're gonna talk about we're gonna share the Christmas read.
Our last submission.
Our last thing. And then we'll draw 3 prize names. So I jumped the gun. Thanks for supporting my mathematical complexities, friends. I'm gonna blame it on not wearing my reading glasses and wearing my antler glasses. So like JJ and Christine did this lovely thing, and I want you to tell us all what you did.
Can I introduce it, JJ? I love this
Please,
so
my friend.
much.
Please. This
so
was your
much.
concept. So
Oh my gosh. This was a bit of a little dream come true for me. So when I was a kid, The Grinch Who Stole Christmas, the animated cartoon, like you remember the days when you had to consult the TV guide and find out when things were going to be on, and then plan your whole world around that.
Watch
And
it on
so,
the CBC at night.
yep, you bet. It was CBC. And so we'd all get pretty excited when how the Grinch Stole Christmas was going to be on. And the whole family, like our family, the whole family would like squeeze into our little family room. And I was low vision, so I'm huddled right up to the TV, squinting at the TV. And it every year this happened. And to this day, and if the camera won't be on me when you hear this, but you would see my lips moving with the words because I know them so well. So we'd watch it every year, and then later as we got older, on Christmas Eve, someone would read it aloud, and it's just such an indelible part of my history of Christmas, and I just love it. I love Susie and rhyme. I loved everything about it. So when we were talking about things to do on to celebrate in this festive space, I wanted to do a dramatic reading of the story with JJ. So we started with that, but what we decided to do was to make some integrated description. So instead of having JJ, break the flow and then ask JJ to describe something or do pre-show notes, sort of thing, we thought, what if we had little tidbits of description sprinkled through the story and phrased in Seussian rhyme. So if you know the story well, you will recognize the parts where we ad-libbed in order to give some visual description. If you don't know the story very well, you may not, and that will be a big pat on our backs if you don't recognize the additions, because it means we did a good job. So JJ and I recorded our little dramatic reading of the book version of How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and with integrated description. So I believe, Rick, you have an image to put up, which is from the book cover of the book version. And what we're about to listen to is me and JJ reading the story. Oh, I'm so excited. I've been looking forward to this, even though I've heard it. I edited it. We read it. I was there the whole time, but I've been looking forward to this. This is just going to make me so happy. So,
So
Rick,
if we bring the photo up, then maybe JJ, can you do a quick description of the cover of the book?
Well, how about I'll describe it after, because
Yes,
there's
please.
some description
There might be in the.
There's
Okay.
some
Yeah.
integrated description that may cover the bases, but
Exactly.
yeah. So why don't we give a listen first, and then we can talk about other
I
stuff.
actually don't know what the front of this book looks like, so
Okay, you will.
I will. All right.
So Rick, whenever you're ready, if you can play the audio, please.
Every Who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot, but the Grinch, who lived just north of Whoville, did not. The Grinch hated Christmas, the whole Christmas season. Now please don't ask why, no one quite knows the reason. It could be his head wasn't screwed on just right. It could be, perhaps, that his shoes were too tight.
Maybe because his legs were short sticks, nastier than yesterday's old used toothpicks. It could be because he was shaped like a pear, from head down to toes all covered in hair. Or 'cause his was the neck of a pencil-necked geek, or 'cause he wore no clothes, not this nor last week. But I think that the most likely reason of all may have been that his heart was 2 sizes too small.
But whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve hating the Who's, staring down from his cave with a sour, grinchy frown at the warm lighted windows below in their town. For he knew every Who down in Whoville beneath was busy now hanging a mistletoe wreath.
And they're hanging their stockings, he snarled with a sneer. Tomorrow is Christmas. It's practically here. Then he growled with his Grinch fingers nervously drumming, I must find some way to stop Christmas from coming. For tomorrow, he knew, all the Who girls and boys would wake bright and early, they'd rush for their toys. And then, oh, the noise, noise. That's one thing he hated, the noise. They'll put skis on their feet and slide down the stairs. They'll bang on big djembes, bongos, and snares.
They'll wheel round on roller skates playing lacrosse. They'll ride round on trains blowing horns, of course.
Then the Who's, young and old, would sit down to a feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast, 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 feast. They would feast on Who pudding and rare Who roast beast, which was something the Grinch couldn't stand in the least.
A line of Who chefs in aprons and hats would parade in the food on platters, in stacks. With their wide eyes closed and their big goofy smiles, they'd have knives and forks poised with no sense of style. And then they'd do something he liked least of all. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, would stand close together with Christmas bells ringing. They'd stand hand in hand, and the Who's would start singing. And they'd sing, and they'd sing, and they'd sing, 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 sing. And the more the Grinch thought of this Who Christmas sing, the more the Grinch thought, I must stop this whole thing. Why, for 53 years I've put up with it now. I must stop this Christmas from coming. But how?
Then he got an idea, an awful idea. The Grinch got a wonderful, awful idea. I know just what to do. The Grinch laughed in his throat, and he made a quick Santa Claus hat and a coat. And he chuckled and clucked, what a great Grinchy trick. With this coat and this hat, I'll look just like Saint Nick. All I need is a reindeer. And the Grinch looked around. But since reindeer are scarce, there were none to be found. Did that stop the Grinch? No. The Grinch simply said, if I can't find a reindeer, I'll make one instead. So he called his dog Max, then he took some red thread, and he tied a big horn on the top of his head. Then he loaded some bags and some old empty sacks on a ramshackle sleigh, and he hitched up old Max. Then the Grinch said, giddy up, and the sleigh started down toward the homes where the Who's lay a snooze in their town.
All the windows were dark. Quiet snow filled the air. All the Who's were all dreaming sweet dreams without care when he came to the first little house on the square. This is stop number 1, the old Grinchy Claus hissed, and he climbed to the roof, empty bags in his fist. Then he slid down the chimney, a rather tight pinch, but if Santa could do it, then so could the Grinch. He got stuck only once for a moment or two. Then he stuck his head out of the fireplace flue, where the little Who stockings all hung in a row. These stockings, he grinned, are the first things to go. Then he slithered and slunk, with a smile most unpleasant, around the whole room, and he took every present. Pop guns and bicycles, roller skates, drums, checkerboards, tricycles, popcorn and plums. And he stuffed them in bags. Then the Grinch very nimbly stuffed all the bags one by one up the chimney.
Then he slunk to the icebox. He took the Who's feast. He took the Who pudding. He took the roast beast. He cleaned out that icebox as quick as a flash. Why, the Grinch even took their last can of Who hash. Then he stuffed all the food up the chimney with glee. And now, grinned the Grinch, I will stuff up the tree. And the Grinch grabbed the tree, and he started to shove when he heard a small sound, like the coo of a dove. He turned around fast, and he saw a small Who, little Cindy Lou who was not more than 2.
The Grinch had been caught by this tiny Who daughter, who'd got out of bed for a cold cup of water. She stared at the Grinch and said, Santa Claus, why? Why are you taking our Christmas tree? Why? But you know, that old Grinch was so smart and so slick, he thought up a lie, and he thought it up quick. Why, my sweet little tot, the fake Santa Claus lied, there's a light on this tree that won't light on one side. So I'm taking it home to my workshop, my dear. I'll fix it up there, then I'll bring it back here. And his fib fooled the child. Then he patted her head, and he got her a drink, and he sent her to bed.
And when Cindy Lou Who went to bed with her cup, he went to the chimney and stuffed the tree up. Then the last thing he took was the log from their fire. Then he went up the chimney himself, the old liar. On their walls he left nothing but hooks and some wire. And the one speck of food that he left in the house was a crumb that was too small even for a mouse. Then he did the same thing to the other Who's houses, leaving crumbs much too small for the other Who's mouses.
It was 1/4 dawn, all the Who's still abed, all the Who's still a snooze, when he packed up his sled, packed it up with their presents, the ribbons, the wrappings, the tags and the tinsel, the trimmings, the trappings, 3,000 feet up the side of Mount Crumpet, he rode with his load to the tip-top to dump it. On his big open sleigh, he carried their stuff in a giant red sack, overflowing with fluff, trees laden with tinsel, piles of teetering presents, of baseball bats, neckties, pots, and stuffed pheasants. The sleigh perched improbably on the tall, snowy peak, making everything round it look so sad and bleak. Pooh, pooh to the Who's, he was Grinchishly humming. They're finding out now that no Christmas is coming. They're just waking up. I know just what they'll do. Their mouths will hang open a minute or two. Then the Who's down in Whoville will all cry, boo-hoo. That's a noise, grinned the Grinch, that I simply must hear.
So he paused, and the Grinch put a hand to his ear. And he did hear a sound rising over the snow. It started in low, then it started to grow. But the sound wasn't sad. Why, this sound sounded merry. It couldn't be so, but it was merry. Very. He stared down at Whoville. The Grinch popped his eyes. Then he shook. What he saw was a shocking surprise. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, was singing, without any presents at all. They all clasped hands one to another. A bridge of song crossed the snow, sister and brother. Wide mouths open wider in song, their voices ringing out like Christmas Who gongs. He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came. Somehow or other, it came just the same.
And the Grinch, with his Grinch feet ice cold in the snow, stood puzzling and puzzling. How could it be so? It came without ribbons. It came without tags. It came without packages, boxes, or bags. And he puzzled 3 hours, till his puzzler was sore. Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more.
And what happened then? Well, in Whoville they say that the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day. And the minute his heart didn't feel quite so tight, he whizzed with his load through the bright morning light, and he brought back the toys and the food for the feast, and he himself, the Grinch, carved the roast beast.
I love every minute of that.
Oh, so beautiful.
And some of it I could pick out was the description very cleverly embedded in there. And some of it I was like, I'm not so sure.
Oh, so much fun. I got the full-on goosebumps. You see, singing saves everybody. You see, singing. It all came together
Right.
to the singing.
Oh, of
Yeah.
course. The
Got
sound.
the full-on goosebumps right there. Oh, man.
Thanks for the image of the toothpick legs.
Yesterday's used toothpick. Right?
Yesterday's used toothpicks. That was great. That was so great. Oh, I can't believe we're almost done for the year, but let's pull some other prizes. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of sad, but
Aw. It means you get to start again fresh next year.
That's true.
That's
We
right.
already got to start to think about our holiday. Like now you are tasked with figuring out the next reading. You got a whole year to
there you
think
go.
about it.
Oh my god.
At some point we're gonna run out of readings.
No, never. We'll just keep writing more.
That's true. We could create our own reading. That would be fun too.
Mm-hmm.
All
Give
right,
us a
Dawn.
theme. We'll work on it.
Give us a theme. That's right. Donna's in the space. Donna's got the magical bag of names and some kind of calculator wizard standing by to correct my math. Pulling 3 names. JJ, you want to pull the first name?
Sure. I'll go with Grinch.
Grinch is Kathy Stuckenberg.
Kathy, congratulations, Kathy. Another raffle prize out to Kathy. Christine.
Yule log.
Yule log goes to Iris.
Iris, congratulations, Iris. And I guess I get to. Okay, do I have to sing mine? JJ didn't have to sing his. JJ didn't have to sing yours. Okay, how about the phrase? How about 2 sizes too small?
Oh, that was
Very
beautiful.
nice.
That's
Oh.
going to Megan.
To Megan. Congratulations, Megan. Well, our holiday event is like coming to an end, friends. I mean, JJ and Christina, I love the bones of the two of you. I have a question about your creating the Grinch reading. One, I want to know how long that took you to do.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Megan.
Cheers.
Happy holidays.
Yes, Merry Christmas.
I just want to know how long that took you all to do, and whether you like did it over Zoom or got into the same space together, or just used your magical like podcast. You know,
we totally used our podcast mojo.
I figured you might have.
Yeah, we're just so in sync, the two of us. You see,
You know, I
no
don't
words
want
were
to
even
gush,
spoken.
and I don't want to brag, but like we do work really well together. That's what I was
So
thinking.
you were able
because
to do it quite quickly, is what you're saying.
we did. Like
Yeah.
we started with the script, and then JJ wrote some very point form descriptions, like really pithy descriptions, and then I turned them into rhyming couplets, and then JJ did a reread and corrected some of the things that weren't completely accurate in the description, like, and rewrote them beautifully, and then we just divvied up who's reading what. We reread it, we did it in one take, like we just whipped it off. We love collaborating. We do it really well. I'm not a big collaborating person. I don't often work that
Really?
way, but
I'm
yeah.
surprised to hear that. I love collaborating. It's my
Do
favorite
you?
way to work. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it really is.
it doesn't come naturally to me. I haven't done very much of it, but JJ and I seem to work really well together. It was fun.
Yeah, it was a really fun process to take the story, and I've got my original paper copy of the book, which is being blurred out by my background here. But I flipped through and was like, okay, so here's some things that I think are missing. And Chris said, I don't have a sense of the Grinch. Can you make sure that there's a description? So we chose where would be a good place to put in a description of this person or this particular moment in the story. And then as Chris said, we kind of went back and forth a little bit with point form notes, and then Chris was the one who turned it into Susie and rhyme. And it was fun. I gotta say, I've been talking that one up myself. Like, hey, what are you doing tonight? Well, I had this Christmas event, and one of the things we get to do
I know.
is like,
I know.
how
It's
often
true.
do you get to like insert yourself into a tradition, like
A cultural icon and a tradition? Yeah. And to just well, and there's a little funny satisfying part for this too for me, because in my family, as I said, every year for decades, someone would read it over Christmas on Christmas Eve, and then that year, at the back of the book, there's a list of signatures, and whoever read it would sign it, and that's a family heirloom thing. And it never crossed my mind to read it ever. And so, but I would mouth the words, like I knew, I practically knew it by heart. And so in my mind, I was always reading it, but I never actually did it. So this is, a really fun opportunity for me to really ham it up and get into character.
That's a lovely tradition, the signing of the back.
It is lovely, eh? I think
That's
maybe
really nice.
I want to read it sometime for the family and get my signature on that book too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You should be circulating this reading to your family.
That's
You know, thank you for saying that. I don't know why that didn't occur to me. I'm gonna do it. I'm so gonna do that. Thank you.
Totally should do that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Any holiday plans for the two of you? Christine, solstice plans?
Yeah, I have a traditional sunset walk with some friends on Solstice, and then we entertain. We have a Christmas brunch, and then other friends over for Christmas dinner, and we have a New Year's Eve party too. So lots of entertaining and not much work, which is fabulous. Looking
I
forward
didn't
to
get an invite. I'm just gonna say.
Oh, you are so on the invite. Oh, gosh, if I could whisk you over into the future,
Yeah.
you'd be pigging out with us. Well,
I-
watching us
I
pig out. I don't know if you
appreciate
pig out, but yeah, for sure.
JJ, traditions in your family?
Yeah, well, we've got the first is the Hanukkah party on the 23rd. That's when the Hanukkah party is in our neighborhood this year. And then the next night, some friends have a Czech Christmas celebration, which is on Christmas Eve. So we do that on Christmas Eve. And then Christmas morning at our house is, pretty classic Christmas morning around here. We have a few little fun traditions where we Santa usually puts some instant ramen in our stockings. So the mid-morning meal is like the weirdest, strangest, spiciest instant ramen we can find. So
Wow.
we do that, and then Christmas dinner, and then some Boxing Day, and then in-laws, and all that very, very Griswold Christmas around here. How about you, Amy? What's your what do your holidays look like?
Yeah, I mean, we do. We just gather around and have a meal with my mom and my brother and I. So it'll be just the three of us. And my father tends to do his family. He's my family, but his wife, and when we go to their house, they tend to do a bigger kind of traditional Christmas thing, where we open gifts and things like that. And I don't know though. I have to say, like, I appreciate it, but a part of me is like, I'm a little old for a gift. And the truth, like, not a gift, but I don't want to sound ungrateful, but it's just like, sometimes you get, as a blind person, you get a gift like a picture frame and you go, or
That's
like,
so thoughtful.
or a book, and you're like, thanks.
Oh my gosh.
Right? And so
Seriously?
my family is sort of still sometimes there with some of the gifts that I get.
Oh
And
my
I appreciate the sentiment behind some of them, and then I go, okay, we'll have to get together on Boxing Day and make some returns, So part of me is just like, hey family, let's not do the gift thing and just spend some time together. Like, why do we put so much pressure on each other
Yeah.
to do that? But
As you say,
or,
that,
like, go
that
on a
time
holiday
together is the
together.
real thing, right? The
Yeah.
spending time, hanging out,
That
just
for me
being
is
in each other's presence, right?
That for me is the
That's the present right there.
Absolutely. So that's, I mean, it's a pretty low-key Christmas holiday around my neck of the woods. In my house in particular, we don't have any decorations up, we don't have any lights up, and it's not a bah humbuggy thing. It's just, there's only so many hours in a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one who's got glasses like that could possibly be a Scrooge. There's no humbugging the mistletoe, glitter antler glasses.
Oh, you know
No
what
way.
though? Catch me in a moment where I'm in a mall in a lineup and people start to budge in front of me because they think I can't see them. And I'm like, come on now, taking advantage of this cane thing. It does happen. I will say it does happen. So
I actually decided this year I'm not going to do Christmas baking because I went like everyone else does it, so I don't actually need to do it. There's so much. But although I gotta say, JJ, I never got any caramel squares. Just
Oh, did you
saying.
miss out on the
I
caramel
missed
squares?
out on the just saying.
man.
If your feet take you down this neck of St. Clair.
Yeah, well, I think Lois has another round of caramel squares. I think Angus has some plans for some. Angus. There's a lot of baking that happens in my house, so yeah, we'll make sure some make a few tins make their way to your
Feast.
doorstep. That's
Thank
right.
you. I'm going to make amaretti, and if I do say so, mine are better than Trey Mari. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it there. I said it. I know.
Wow, that's
The
bold.
bar's high.
That's bold.
I know.
well, now I just want a package in the mail. My address is
Yeah, that's right. Cookie delivery.
cookies can be shipped.
We'll take this offline for sure.
I
It's gold,
I
you
don't know
know?
what amaretti is, but it sounds.
Oh, you'd love it.
It
It's
sounds amazing.
they're Italian almond cookies. So it's almond flour, egg whites, sugar, and almond extract. That's it. So simple, so
So
delicious, light, gluten-free, very yummy. If you like almond flavor.
I do like almond very much.
Do you really?
I do. Yeah.
I think Santa's going to
know.
remember that.
Audio now unmuted.
Maybe.
Do you share recipes, Christine?
Of course.
Those cookies
course.
sound wonderful.
Oh,
And
do you want me to
Susie
pop?
and rhymes too.
Yeah, maybe if Christine and JJ, if you have some recipes you want to share, send them to me in an email tonight, and we'll pop
Hey, there
them
you
on
go.
in our follow-up email for folks.
And Susie
you
and
go.
Rhyme. I'm going to be up all night
Susie
now.
and Rhyme.
You people torment me with these suggestions that I can't ignore.
And I want to tell you, Grinch is my all-time favorite Christmas story, and hearing you guys read it made my day.
Oh,
Wonderful.
yay.
Thank you.
Thank you for saying that.
And I'm almost ashamed to say I've never watched The Grinch.
Oh, really?
That's okay.
Yeah. No, I'm one that hardly watches TV.
Sure.
Well, there you
Oh,
go. Well,
that's all
now
right.
you've
So
got a
now
great
I-
story.
Now
So
you know.
now I know what it's all about.
Thank you all.
Was it?
Have a
Oh, you're
beautiful-
welcome.
Take care. Thank
Good night,
you.
Tony.
This was,
Good night,
this was
Tony.
phenomenal.
Oh,
Happy
yay.
holidays to
Thanks so
everyone.
much.
Holidays, Tony.
Happy holidays.
Happy
Tony.
Tony's.
Thank you for your creativity. It's just phenomenal.
Aw,
you.
thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Cheers.
VocalEye, vocaleye.ca. Special thanks to our funders, the Canada Council for the Arts, the British Columbia Arts Council, the Province of British Columbia, and the City of Vancouver.